Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the Citywide Special. The Eagles make a series of free agent signings highlighted by running back A.J. Dillon and edge rusher Azeez Ojulari. Brandon Graham hangs up the cleats announcing his retirement on Tuesday. Lane Johnson plans to stick around, signing an extension through the 2027 season. The Sixers pull off an exciting OT loss on Monday against the Rockets. Daryl Morey addresses the media. What can we make of his comments? Flyers continue climbing up the draft board with back-to-back losses to the Hurricanes and Lightning. Ivan Fedotov turns in a solid performance on Monday, but the offense is still abysmal. The Phillies, the baseball team, open their season next week against the Nationals in Washington. All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good, man. Spring is upon us. You know, we're in full free agency form in the NFL. We got warm weather creeping up, but then also going away for a little bit and then coming back in. But can't complain. Good to have consecutive weeks on the pod for the first time in a while, which is nice.
Is that true?
Well, I think so. Back to back without a break. Maybe 3 in a row.
Yeah, I think that's 3 in a row.
Either way, back to back. It's good. I'll take it.
We're back.
But yeah, man, can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, speak for yourselves. I'm not going to be back next week.
Well,
I'm
not you, but I'm
in
saying
LA getting that California love. You know what I'm saying? But no, I mean, for now, we're in the midst of the Philly fall spring. You know what that is.
Oh yeah,
fall spring.
You know what it is, and then we're gonna have Philly winter returns for
March.
A few days. And
you're
then,
bundled up in the morning, and then you're nice and warm in the afternoon. Then you're back to being cold in the morning. And next week's will be what? 50?
Yeah, I think
cold all week.
40s and 50s all week. So yeah, that'll probably be our last cry of winter. And then it's time for spring. And then we'll get to see Cha-Cha again.
Oh yeah.
And the little man from Lucky 13.
Cha-Cha.
Icons of 2024.
You taking a shit? Yeah.
You ever drive with a boy on Kelly Drive? What are you, some kind of author? Fucking Shel Silverstein.
One of the great recurring characters here on the pod.
Yeah, her, the little man. Where are my $5? Oh, man. They're probably the only 2 recurring characters outside of our guests.
We'll have new this year. Spring, like I said, spring is upon us.
Yeah, there'll be somebody else.
The characters are already popping off outside from the Broad and Snyder area. So I think that if that's any indication of what we're going to get in terms of who we see throughout the season, we're in for one.
Yeah. It's once the weather starts to warm up a little bit, everyone's outside, good, bad, or different. That includes the freaks and the mutants. I shouldn't call them that, but I mean, what else are you going to call them? But no, man, it's good to be back. I thought it was going to kind of be a lean week. You know what I'm saying? Because, the Eagles made some bargain bin pickups in free agency. But then we get the big BG news, right?
Yep.
And what else? Then we get the Azeez Ojulari move, which is actually a big one we can talk about.
Yep.
The Sixers are up to whatever tomfoolery. Daryl Morey speaking at the analytics conferences, talking a bunch of nonsense. The Phillies start up soon. The Flyers are ass, but we already knew that. But Topgolf was all right.
Nice, yeah. How'd that go?
Talk about that for a little bit first. Yeah, it was decent. So yeah, it was. I didn't know what to expect. It's kind of like if you took a driving range and bowling. I think that's probably the closest way, or the best way I can describe it is, it's a driving range. So you're just driving golf balls as hard as you can into these targets. And yeah, you get more points if you hit the right targets like bowling, and it adds them up. There's a whole digital aspect. It's wild. The balls, I didn't realize this. They have sensors in them. So they can tell you exactly how far you hit it once it hits the ground, if it rolls, how far it rolls. Yeah, it was all right. I was very sore the next day. Golf, I haven't swung a golf club like that probably since going to the driving range by Cooper River in high school. Yeah, I was sore as hell. My broken finger, the finger I broke a few years ago, I'm holding it up to the mic. You can't really hear it, but it's clicking. I can feel it clicking every time. And back was sore, shoulder was sore, but now it was a good time. It's fun just having a few beers, eating some food, and just driving some balls with your coworkers.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, I love driving balls with my coworkers every now and then. But what did I say last week? It was I said Top Golf. Top Golf is a combo of the driving range and golf.
Yeah, I was listening back to that. That was funny.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh man, come on, Pat." But anyway, yeah, no, Top Golf is fun, you know. But yeah, you do get sore. You're doing shit that you don't normally do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're swinging around and whatnot, getting all loosey goosey. But that's great, man. Glad you had a good time doing that. Good weather too for it.
It was actually chilly that day.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah, it was a little chilly, but hey, I mean, the bays are heated.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had heated seats. It was dope. And I mean, once you have a few beers in you, you don't really feel the cold. Plus, it's not the most active sport, but swinging that ball takes a little effort.
Yeah, especially doing it like over and over and over.
Yeah, you stay pretty warm and toasty.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Definitely recommend. We might have to have a podcast bonding trip to Topgolf.
Hell yeah.
We're going to invite some of the boys.
Nice.
I know some
guests.
Yeah, some
You know
of
what
the
I want
guests.
to do soon is hit up I think they have them at like South Bowl, but I want to get into like a batting cage.
Oh yeah.
I haven't done that in a long
Yeah.
time because everybody hits is gone.
South Bowl is the closest one I know.
I think
to here.
Yeah, there's no like dedicated batting cages around here anymore.
Yeah, everybody hits was cool.
Yeah, that place was awesome. I think the last time I was there was for this fundraiser thing, and they had turned off.
I remember. Yeah, I was there with you.
Yeah, they turned on the machines for free. You could just go in there.
Yeah.
And so I was just in there all night, just hitting baseballs. But I had like a dress shirt on, so by the end of it, I had like my shirt was like totally ripped up, like the armpits were like ripped. I was like, I completely ruined this shirt because I was just hitting balls like all night. It was great. It was
Hitting
fun.
dingers.
Yeah, dude, I was smacking them around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is true, man. I guess there's South Bowl, but outside of that, there isn't. Excuse me, anywhere with batting cages like that.
Yeah,
Unless right over the bridge, but I don't.
There's probably places in
I'm sure there's
Jersey.
places
Yeah.
in Jersey, yeah. And probably out in like I don't know,
Bur-
maybe somewhere in the Northeast or some shit. But
Northeast there definitely is one because there used to
Yeah.
be a mini golf right by my parents' house that had a batting cage in there.
yeah,
But in case you're ever around the Northeast or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when that's going to be. Probably be over in Jersey sooner than that, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so yeah, we're talking. What are we talking? Batting cages. We're talking Topgolf. What else are we talking for bonding trips? Bowling. Bowling's always a good
Oh,
one.
dude, yeah, man. I love a good bowling outing.
Yeah, I enjoy bowling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the last time I went bowling, I was a little sore too, though.
When the last time we go bowling?
yeah.
Probably about a year ago.
I love bowling.
Yeah, I haven't been bowling in a while either.
Well, now that Pet Bowl's closed, you can't really. There's no
Yeah,
more
it
of the
sucks.
BYOB one. St. Monica's is actually okay. We went there.
Who?
St. Monica's right near McCuskers.
Yeah, they have like
Across the street.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
a bowling
Catholic
alley. I
school,
thought that
but
was a school.
It is, but there's like a bowling alley in like the basement. I've never been there.
Oh,
but
for real?
apparently
it's like old timey, but like the like
they have
bowling-
like leagues and stuff in there. But there's sometimes you can go and just
Oh, that's dope. I
The
had
leagues
no
are
idea.
like it's like family and like old people, which is cool. You know what I mean? But they're like
Yeah.
chilling. But the lanes are like old wood, like crooked as fuck. Like the ball, you can hear the ball like down the whole
I love
lane.
the old school style.
It's cool, though.
I remember when back when we had Baker Lanes over in Jersey.
Yeah.
And then I remember they tried to update the whole like look of the place and replaced all of, like
I
the boards in the
remember this.
back and made them look all like modern and stuff. And then they shut down like a couple months later. That was like the death rattle.
Yo,
of
and the
the
funniest
bowling
thing
alley
was-
was trying to modernize it.
They only modernized like a third of it.
Yeah.
Right, so one section had like flashing lights and was like dim and like had like black lights and stuff.
Yeah.
The rest of it was just the same old school, just kind of grimy, kind of dirty, just what we known to grow and love Baker Lanes for. That was so funny.
I like a
Good
grimy
times.
bowling
Yeah,
lane though.
I remember this was like years ago. I went on like an OkCupid date in like at North Bowl,
Oh hell yeah!
and I hadn't gone bowling in like a while, and I had no reason to think that I was going to be any good. And she was like, "So are you like good at this?" I was like, "Nah." And I had like the best game of my life. It was just like strike, spare, strike, spare. I was just like crushing, and it got to the point where I was like, I didn't care about the day anymore. I was just really into the bowl. I was just like crushing it so hard. And then as we left, like I was like about to like turn to me and like, "Hey, so I had to go to blah blah," and she just like jumped into a cab. I was like, all right, I guess there's probably not gonna be a second date now, but at least I had a lot of fun bowling.
I found my new passion though. Yeah,
Yeah, dude, that was fun.
that's funny as shit.
yeah.
Turn around, you say, "Who do you think you are? I am." She's like, "What? I'm just trying to get to late right now."
Damn.
So, yeah.
She wasn't happy that you crushed her in bowling.
Nah.
Once you start getting on a hot streak, everything else goes out the window.
The competitive
Friendships,
instincts just take over.
relationships.
Yeah,
you're
you
like,
start getting cocky and full of yourself.
Yeah.
you're starting to look at the lane like you know what you're doing. You're like, all right, hold on now. Let me move over a little bit because I'm going to adjust real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, bowling sick. But anyway, speaking of jumping in the cab and leaving, Brandon Graham is no longer on the Eagles.
Yeah.
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 Pretty much, not surprising, kind of expected
not
it.
at
I thought there
all.
was like an outside chance he might try to come back. But I think there was kind of an outside chance of it. Then when you learned that he retore his, what was it, his tricep
triceps,
or whatever,
yeah.
it was like, all right, this is probably going to be it. And, I mean, couldn't have gone out in a better way.
No.
Comes out in the Super Bowl, gets that dub, retires
Man.
a champion.
15th year. I mean, he said it perfectly right. Like you
Yeah.
said, injuries,
15
whatever.
years with the same team, that's rare now, too. That's pretty awesome.
With his track record. I mean, there were so many opportunities of us to really dump him if we wanted to or trade him or whatnot. And, you bring in, you think about all the other guys that we brought in during his tenure that played the end that were decent for a year or two and stuck with it. He stayed with the team. Phenomenal leader. The personality. I mean, he might not be he probably won't be a Hall of Famer, but you will never see another Brandon Graham on this team just in the sheer sense of like who he is as a person. Like people love Kelsey and all that. He's, big vibes guy, whatever, funny to the media and all that. But Brandon Graham as like an actual player, his personality that way on the field was unmatched.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of great things to love about him. His trash talk is just undefeated,
The
man.
next level, yeah.
When the Eagles posted the video, some of like the highlights of his trash talk, a few of them stuck out to me. What was the one? I reposted it on my Instagram. Something about, you gonna be like Popeye's chicken sandwich, the spicy joint. And then there was another one where it's like, I promise you will be seeing us in your dreams tonight. Or so many good ones. She don't want a little dog, she want a big dog. So many good lines, man. But even aside from that, the trash talk, like we talked about CJ, I guess maybe a week or two ago I did. And just how his trash talk just gets under people's skin and he's a nuisance and he's kind of an irritant. Whereas with Brandon Graham, his trash talk would get under dude's skin, but it was always in such good flavor and humor that no one was ever mad at him, ready to fight him, punch him. They would just be like, oh yeah, that's just BG. That's just who he is.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he was Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee twice.
Yep.
Because not only was he a great player on the field, great player off the field in the locker room, was a team leader towards the latter parts of his career. And there will never be another Eagle like him. His career trajectory is just so fascinating.
Oh,
There
dude.
was the first round pick.
Yeah.
Just,
He gets injured. He's on bust alert.
yeah, everyone's wanting Earl
Earl
Thomas.
Thomas. Yeah. And then he comes up with the biggest play in franchise history, arguably.
Yeah. I don't even think arguably. I think
I
honestly
think
that
that's probably
is.
is
Yeah.
the biggest.
So
you
hold
know?
up. Here's the deal. I was thinking about this. Is the strip sack on Tom Brady the biggest play, the most important play, we'll call it, in Philly sports history?
In Philly.
Certainly in our lifetimes.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely up there.
I'd say for me it is because I feel like at that point again, like every other team in the city had already won a championship. I mean, you're playing against the GOAT, the real GOAT, right? And Tom Brady at that time, still with the Patriots, still with that locked in team. He comes up there with that crucial play in what was that? Wasn't that the fourth quarter?
Yeah, the fourth quarter.
I mean,
2:16 or 2:18.
That is a quintessential Tom Brady drive up the field, waste all the clock, score a touchdown, call it a day, and you get that strip sack
in a
fumble.
game where we could not stop them at
Right.
all. It was just a total shootout.
Right, you're only up by
Finally,
5 at that point,
one
right?
play.
You're only up by 5.
we
You
had
get
to
the
kick a field goal,
3,
yeah.
so it forces them to score and get a 2-point conversion just to get to overtime. So yeah, that was, I mean, incredible.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you can really point to that was like a singular play that was, because it's not like, like when the Phillies won the World Series, it's not like they won it on like a walk-off home run in Game 7 or something like that, So like as far as like one single play that stands out, I think that's got to be at the top of the list.
And I think football bodes well to like a singular play. Like I think football among most sports is like a one play really could change the balance of the whole entire game, right? Like unless you get a perfect opportunity to be the guy batting at the bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, full count, walk-off home run. That's way more rare than I think,
So if you're going Joe Carter in 93 on us, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't.
No,
I was going to say we haven't had the Joe Carter moment. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that's
We've been on the other side of some of these.
Yeah, but like that was our moment right there.
Yeah,
that was his moment. We just got to enjoy him doing that.
Yeah, the Kawhi shot, had it gone our way, I would say would be up there for sure. But yeah, I mean, the only other play I feel like that came close, at least in my mind, was the Utley play in the World Series, but it wasn't to decide the game. It was a sick play. The fake to what was it, first throw to home?
Yep.
It was a momentum changing play, but we were already going to win that series regardless of the outcome of that game, probably. So yeah, I think the BG play, just the most important play in Philly sports history, is our first championship, first Super Bowl. I mean, other Philly teams had won, obviously. First Super Bowl. As you said, it is Tom Brady in his prime.
Yep.
We couldn't stop them all night. That really just sealed it. I mean, I thought back about this, and I started thinking back to what like my mind was going through as that moment happened. And there was a part of me that was like, oh, that stupid tuck rule. Mm-hmm. Let's make sure that they don't call that an incompletion.
Because he tried to move he tried to make it look like a throw, but it was so far back here that like it was already out by the time he got up to the ear. But I'm just happy that he was the one that made that play. You know what I mean? Derek Barnett ended up picking up the ball. But, yeah, I mean, he's forever ingrained in the Eagles' history as he was already one of the most loved DNs we ever had, I think, in the history of the Eagles football. But having that play cemented his legacy. And then coming back from that torn tricep to be able to play in the Super Bowl. We didn't need him to make any major plays like that this year, obviously, because we just fucking beat the shit out of him. But having him be on the field again and have the 2 like trophies right there with him when he was talking was just
that was hard. That was tough.
That was fucking sick.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm so happy for Brandon Graham. We're gonna miss him, I think, in the locker room for sure. Not where the team will, but just so many amazing things that he's done. All the adversity he's been through. So many injuries, but he's always been consistent. I mean, when he ever came back, even 2019, 2020, 9 sacks.
Yeah.
He always went in double-digit sacks and got 8 and 9 or 9 and 8, whatever it was.
What year was it he tore his Achilles? 2021? Mm-hmm. Then he came back and made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
His only Pro Bowl he made coming off a torn Achilles. He was balling.
It's a sin he won't be in the Hall of Fame, but he'll be in, the Eagles Hall of Fame and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I even think his like shit-talking aspect, you normally see all that kind of flavor with secondary people.
Yeah.
I think it's also rare that you see that on a D end. Like that is
true.
That's kind of funny, you know what I mean? Like you never hear TJ Watt being a big vocal guy like that. You never hear even really Chris Jones, any major defensive lineman, Aaron Donald. Like you don't hear anybody talking shit, chirping the whole time. But
Jalen Carter kind of has some of that in him, but he's not established yet.
Not yet. But Brandon Graham was like always just yelling at everybody. I love when he asked, like he's like, "I want some honey too," and even the ref is like, "You hear that? He wants some honey too." Like that's just
the refs definitely liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the other ones, going back to the video the Eagles posted, is that game against the Bills where we came back and won, and Hurts had like that crazy fourth quarter and overtime. Just to this day, I love hearing Brandon Graham go, "You must not know. You ain't know Jalen Hurts like I know Jalen Hurts. You don't know. He gonna let you know." And then at one point, he's sitting on the sidelines. He's like, "I talk so much shit. I can't breathe."
He's like pulling out his fucking chest doing that. Because he was yelling at the Bills while trying to block the field goal. He was literally talking shit while the play was going on. He was like, "You don't know where
He's suffocating on the sidelines." Nah, man, just a rare dude. Just such a good person. And I mean, the Eagles, as long as we're fans, they may never have a personality like that again. And they probably won't have one like Kelsey either. It's just crazy to think that, between Brandon Graham, Lane Johnson, Kelsey, Fletch,
Cox.
These dudes have all been here for so long, and we became so used to them being here.
It's an interesting thing, right? Like you see Lane Johnson restructuring his contract this year to have a 3-year, it'll be 3 years under his belt now that he has left in the contract. That would put him at 15 as well.
Oh, he's done after
that.
Yeah.
And it's funny, he's like, I got you guys, which is such a sweet, you look at that picture, like you said, you picture the 4 guys that are always there, and he's in his 12th year now and still playing. He's most likely a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's still,
gives
still
you-
the best right tackle in the league.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, you give that man, even if he has one more solid Pro Bowl type of year, I think that puts him at the 99%. I was reading all these weird stats of like, there's like a science or math to like Hall of Fame.
There's
Calculations.
metrics that go into it. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, he's nailed it because he's got the All Pros to back it up, the Pro Bowls to back it up, the
Two
Super Bowl
Super
2
Bowls,
rings
yeah.
now too. So like, it's more about just him. Can he play for that long of time? But I bet you he tries his hardest to get to 15,
Yeah.
and he says he would.
Dude,
He'd be 37, I think, when it ends.
even if he retired tomorrow, I still think he's first ballot. Just his accolades speak for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think Hall of Fame voters, a lot of times they're sports writers. A lot of them are old and crotchety and don't really know what the modern game is like. But it's offensive tackle. I mean, it's not running back or receiver or quarterback where the analytics come into play. It's either you block the guy or you don't. You allow
You
sacks
don't
or
really,
you
you don't need to dig into like EPA per play.
Exactly.
And all that shit. When it
Yeah.
comes to Lane Johnson, he's just a beast.
It's just funny seeing the changing of the guards, right? Like, we grew up with those 4 guys being a staple of this team and see them all go one by one in great fashion, right? They all at least got a ring, which is a rare thing. Would have been really unthinkable.
Yeah, when
while
they
were
first started,
playing.
the Eagles didn't have any rings.
No.
Yeah.
So to see them all get at least 1 and 2 of them get 2, it's a special thing. And potentially Lane to get 3 eventually. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, it wasn't really as bittersweet to see Brandon Graham go because you kind of knew his body was telling him it's time to go, and he was taking that role the last couple of years as a rotational player, right?
He's still killing it, though.
Yeah, he was. I mean, last year it was a great season before he went out, for sure. That Rams game, too. The game he went out on, he was killing it. 2 sacks.
Yeah. He had a couple TFLs. I remember he had a big TFL on an end around or a jet sweep or something to that effect. Nah, he was great. And it's just, shout out to Brandon Graham, man.
Yeah, honestly. 55. They should retire that shit, to be honest with you.
I think they will. I think they will.
Missed a laugh, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that cackle. Mm-hmm. See if I can get one going.
But potentially his replacement for at least the year from the Giants. Another pick from the Giants.
Yeah, Ojolari.
Rotational wise, yeah.
Yeah. Did you get
How do we
into these new signings?
How do we think, Trevor?
I mean, I like it. I mean, I think it's great that this is an example of the Eagles putting themselves in a great position to be able to sign a guy to a deal that no one else was going to be able to sign him to. Like everyone's making like, these other fans are like, why? If we could get him for $4 million, why the fuck didn't we do that? It's like because you couldn't do that, man. Because it's the way I guess the market didn't pan out for him, and presumably he's coming here on a cheap deal, like a prove it contract, and then he'll go back to the market next year and get some more coin. But I think he's definitely taking a little bit of a discount to go to a team where he could potentially rack up some big numbers, make a playoff run, reestablish himself. So that's like the advantage that you have as a team that's, one of the premier teams in the league now. So,
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to dislike about the deal. Certainly, he has an injury history, and he hasn't really lived up to potential. But at the same time, I mean, he's playing on the Giants, right?
Yeah, right.
Think about the last
In
guy that
MetLife.
came to the Eagles after playing on the Giants, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Who also had in his injury history. So it's like,
right,
you
it's
never
that
know.
it's that goddamn turf.
Yeah,
The turf can't
I know,
be good
man.
for you as a football player.
Playing on some real grass now.
And yeah, I mean, 1 year for $4 million, that's slightly above a vet minimum. He's what, 24, 25?
24.
If he plays
He'll probably be
well.
Yeah,
25.
I think he turns 25 in
Yeah.
like June or something.
If he
yeah.
plays well, I mean, the cap keeps going up. Maybe you have room to extend him or to bring him back. So nothing wrong with it. His stats are interesting because, I mean, people have kind of labeled him a bust. He's been injury prone, I mean, his rookie year when he was healthy, 2021 in 17 games, he had 8 sacks, 8 TFLs, and 13 QB hits. That's as a rookie. That's solid. Then even last year, he played 11 games, still had 6 sacks, 7 TFLs, and 10 QB hits on that sorry Giants defense. So I think the upside's there. Again, I've always kind of been one to say, it doesn't matter that these Georgia guys are all on the team, and clearly they've proven me wrong. He's going to be around all his boys. He's not going to want to let them down. I think he's in so much that a rotation player, because I think that's what he's going to be for a lot of the year, in so much as a rotation player can make a difference, he'll be a difference maker.
Yeah, I mean, they've proven, too, that they can take these guys on a cheap deal. And to your point, like, yeah, well, why don't we do this on the other team? Because no one wants to go there. Like, you have a team where if you have a prove-it year to try to do it, Eagles have been in the Super Bowl twice in 3 years. They've established themselves as a win-in-the-trenches type of team. They do it, obviously old-fashionedly on the offensive side of the ball. But defensively, we've had the rotational mindset since we had Jim Schwartz on the team when we won in 2017. He was a big rotational guy too. So I think that it was a perfect fit. I think we're a great landing spot for free agents in the NFL. Zach Bond was a prove-it deal, right? He was pretty much not really looked upon as a main player, and he came out to be a all-pro, Pro Bowler type of linebacker. And even him on his interview a week or two ago was like, I'm just a piece of the puzzle. Like, I'm not even trying to be the guy. I'm just here the system's great. The culture here is fantastic. I just mend well with what they're doing. Mekhi Becton, prove-it deal. Damn near phenomenal turnaround to his career. Got to get paid and go to the Chargers, which is good for him. It sucks to see him go, but the team is built to, I think there was always a joke of like, we're a quarterback factory, right? Always drafted quarterbacks and shit like that, but we really do that in multiple other positions on the team. Linemen, we bring in guys that may not be the best, but we end up turning them out to be pretty good with, Stoughton University. Defensive line, shout out, I forget the big boy's name, the coach for the defensive line.
Clint Hurt.
Hurt's still back for another year, so we'll see what happens with that. He did tremendous with Nolan Smith, paired with Vic Fangio still being here. So put him on there. We have 7 Bulldogs now from that 2020 team. Whether or not that means anything or not, you're seeing, Nakobe Dean had the best year of his career with multiple guys being healthy, playing rotational, whatever. I love it. We're who wouldn't want to come at a sub 28-year-old player in the league, right? You've had a wishy-washy first couple of years. You come to an established team with guys that or at least just people that are young and want to play and prove to the league that they belong here. That's a deadly kind of chip on your shoulder to bring those kind of mentality guys into your team, which I think that's what they're reaching for. Those kind of guys. Yeah,
I think it's also they're looking at guys with high upside that haven't reached that potential that people are casting away as busts, like a Brandon Graham.
Right.
The Eagles have been really good, to your point, of rehabbing players' reputations. QB Factory, we're a football player factory.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, the Eagles have done really good at multiple positions of bringing guys in, really helping them assimilate into the culture, helping them develop as players, as people, as football players, and ultimately, it's a lot of why we won the Super Bowl this past season, right? Zach Bond, Mekhi Becton, Oren Burks.
Yeah.
Oren Burks was maligned for his performance in the previous Super Bowl. He was huge for us
I'd be curious
year.
to see what he does, because he'll be the main, that Bengals defense is pretty fucking shitty, so he's going to have a tall task to tackle over there, but I think that they got themselves a real good linebacker up there now. So I just like the fact that they're going for young, hungry players, right? Sure, we probably could have paid for Khalil Mack or someone like that to solidify the absence of Brandon Graham, but for what you used your defensive lineman for, or whatever else in the secondary or linebacker core, to bring in young guys that had big potential when they first got drafted, injury prone on shitty teams, and now you bring them to a championship caliber mindset team. That's huge for these guys.
Yeah, and I think their whole approach this offseason so far has kind of shown that I think Howie learned a lot from the mistakes he made after the Super Bowl 52 season, where it was kind of just trying to keep this thing together and overpaying for aging veterans and all this kind of stuff. But this time around, I feel like they're kind of let's stay calm, keep doing the things that got us here. Don't reach for these players and pay too much and get in cap trouble and all this kind of thing. And they clearly have a lot of confidence in the coaching staff and the culture to be able to get the most out of these players. So I like the approach. There's no guarantee that these guys are going to perform the way you want to, but there's a lot of upside there.
Yeah.
So
they've shown that they can.
Yeah.
So we shall see. Now, we could come over here and fuck up the draft. We'll all be like, oh, well, we're screwed. But he's proven himself that he's owned the draft the last 2 years and has gotten over that weird hunch of not knowing what to do. and now he's changing his mindset to get these young free agents that are hungry. We'll see. I mean, I'm excited. He told us to just believe in him at the parade. You know what I mean? You got to trust me here. So we are, and so far, I think he's making smart moves.
Yeah, I love this. Speaking of GMs and just teams being run rightly or wrongly. So this is from Jordan Renan, who covers the Giants. This is a tweet. The Giants were 2-7 at the trade deadline. Heard at the time a 5th-round pick was offered for Azeez Ojulari. But Kayvon Thibodeau was injured at the time. Ojulari starting. Giants decided to keep him. Ojulari eventually got injured again, and now he chose to go elsewhere. So they could have at least gotten a 5th-round pick for him.
They could have got something.
If they realized, we have no shot of making the playoffs at 2-7. Let's just recoup something.
Their GM is a fucking bum, dude.
Nah, they're so poorly run between the ownership. What's the GM's name? Joe Shane.
Yeah.
Just and what the Mara family, Joe Shane. Who's their coach? It's
like fucking Brian Dabble, dude.
Daboll's still the coach.
Yeah,
Did he get fired?
No, I don't think he got canned. I think he's still there.
Oh, good lord, man.
Daboll's still there.
Yeah. Ugh,
and we got what's it called? Another Giant too.
Oh, Adoree Jackson.
Yeah, who we wanted him when he left Tennessee.
Yeah, before.
But the Giants paid more. We said, all right, no big deal. He didn't really. I think he had one. I know he picked us off for sure at the link because I was there for that game. But he hasn't really panned out the way that they thought he would when he came from Tennessee.
Yeah.
But, he played with A.J. Brown. There's continuity there. You're seeing all your boys that were highly touted players from either college or other teams go there and not pan out, but then go to the Eagles right up the road and do very well. Now he joins Saquon Barkley, Ojulari. I mean, I feel pretty good about it. I love that pick. It's the oldest bring-in he's brought.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, the whole team's so young.
Yeah.
I think after BG retired, there are 4 players on the team over 30. And Jackson's one of them, I'm pretty sure, right? So
has to be him, Lane.
I think Elliott.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's been
maybe the
around
long snapper.
Yeah, I think the long snapper who looks straight up like a long snapper.
Yeah.
He looks like a stereotypical long snapper you'd see in some football movie.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, shout out to Rick Lovato. We won 2 Super Bowls here.
Yeah, dude.
Previous long snapper. Shout out to Rick Lovato.
Double champ. Liability last year, but he was a double champ.
Yeah, he wasn't great last year. Probably why he's packing his bags. But I think he made a Pro Bowl or 2. Shout out to him.
He did.
But anyway, Adoree Jackson. I mean, think about it. You lost Slay. Bradbury's as good as gone, even though no team signed him. He's not coming back here.
Yeah.
You kind of need that veteran leadership in the secondary. So Adoree Jackson brings you that. Whether he ends up starting or whether he just ends up being like the wily vet that comes in when someone gets hurt remains to be seen. But yeah, you need someone that knows the NFL a little better. Not saying Quinyon and Cooper DeJean aren't studs, but you need someone with some experience back there. So he brings you that. Also a cheap deal, knows the NFC East pretty well, right? So, I think that move pays off whether he ends up starting or not.
Yeah, I liked it. It was a solid pickup. I think, to all our points, Howie's making safe bets, low risk.
Pretty low risk.
Low risk, high reward. So, you saw, we're not going to expect, the other lineman that we got in the trade with Houston to be another Mekhi Becton, right? Former first-round pick. Never lived up to the expectations, injury prone, great size for a guard, right? But never really did anything. I'm not expecting Mekhi Becton 2.0, but there's a reason why they're going for these same size guys, right? Lane Johnson wants a guy with long arms and a big base, and you got pretty much another Mekhi Becton size-wise. I'll take 75% of what he got out of Mekhi Becton with this cat coming in out of Houston, and we'll be okay. Fred Johnson loss is big, I think. That's a sneaky...
Yeah, I like a Fred Johnson.
I think that's a sneaky big loss.
He was fine when
that game against
in.
the Bengals, he held Trey Hendricks and not even a QB hit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's a big loss just in terms of depth because, we didn't really build on that, but this guy could be another big upside, right? Low risk, high reward, how he's playing it safe. I'm still predicting some kind of big move on draft day, though.
I kind of feel that.
32nd pick in the
draft. They got a lot of draft capital.
Yeah, I think they're going to move up in a big way. I don't know for what.
See, I could see them trading the 32nd pick for a player.
That's what right,
you're saying to move up?
I think
they pull like something like the A.J. Brown trade.
That makes sense.
I don't know.
Who would you think? Well, just don't say player, but positionally then.
Safety.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a safety, right?
think,
What other holes does the team have? Safety or tight end? I think they're drafting a tight end.
Hold up now then. 32nd pick, then safety. What about is Simmons still with Denver?
I think he's a free agent.
Oh, well then that doesn't make any sense.
So they could go get him, which maybe they do at some point. I don't know that for sure. But yeah, he's familiar with Vic Fangio, so that would make sense.
There's been chirps about that for sure, but yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. We'll see. I mean, we'll have plenty of time to talk about the draft in the next month. Now that free agency's starting to peter out a little bit, but I do think that, to your point, something's going to happen on draft night. I don't know what it is yet. Maybe they do trade up and pick someone. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. I guess the last big piece that they got that could be exciting, at least it's not like a weird sub guy, weird 22-year-old guy, but we did get this nice running back who's known for a specific part of his body.
Oh, it's not loading. Oh, no.
Man. The delay.
That's bad podcasting.
Well, AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can get it to load anytime soon. But yeah, we can talk about AJ Dillon in the
I like
meantime.
it.
Yeah, I really like this.
I guess he's also over 30, pushing 28.
No, he's like 26. He's young.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
He looks
he's young.
old. Maybe it's just him being bald makes him look old. Hard to tell. But yeah, man, I don't hate it for a backup to Saquon.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's yeah. I mean, the dude's the fucking bruiser, man. Like I really liked him as a player, and yeah, I think it is a good compliment to Saquon, and hopefully like you can maybe take a little bit of his. I mean, like obviously they're still going to feed Saquon a lot, but maybe not quite as many carries as last year. But yeah, I think as far as backup running backs go, I mean, that's a pretty damn good one.
You figure you're a defense, right? You're getting fucking owned all day by Saquon. You're like, oh, great, we got Gainwell. We can stop this little guy. Now you're like, oh, great, we have AJ fucking Dillon now. Like, it's the same size. Like, you're still tackling a brick wall, which would suck.
Yeah, I think what it is it's insurance in case Saquon gets injured, right? Because, yeah, to Trevor's point, you're not going to run Saquon as much as you did this year. Right, he's getting older. You want to make sure he lasts the duration of these next few years. You extend him for
extension.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you see AJ Dillon probably get some goal line carries and some more garbage time carries. But also, if he gets hurt, you kind of have a thunder and lightning thing between AJ Dillon and Will Shipley. In the limited carries he got,
Shipley looked
really good, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, Gainwell became expendable because they think Shipley can do a lot of the same things. So. Yeah, A.J. Dillon will play a role in the offense, but more than anything, I think it's just insurance in case Saquon, say you don't want him to take 25 carries a game. Say you want Saquon to get a couple goal line, or Hurts for that matter, get a couple goal line snaps off. Yeah, bring this guy in, 6'1", 250. Let him just bowl dudes over.
I mean, between that and just the sheer quads on all. I mean, you got between Hurts, Saquon, and AJ Dillon.
That's a fucking beefy backfield right there.
Yo, here we go.
Also with us is another Green Bay football
talking
phenom,
about quads.
really phenom, running back. You may know the name Quadzilla, the Quad Father, AJ Dillon. I got to meet him backstage. Get healthy soon, AJ. Get healthy soon. Look at this guy. I met AJ backstage. I said, this guy is a seriously good-looking athlete. We're going to watch you get better soon. You're going to be in good shape, I think. I hear great. Thank you, AJ, very much.
Well, as long as he says he'll be okay,
Thank
we're
you,
good to
AJ.
go. Yeah. But yeah,
you know,
man, meaty-ass backfield.
I think the injury, like usually any player coming off an injury, you're thinking, oh, yeah, that's bad news. Yeah, neck injury is serious. I'm not saying that it isn't a reason for concern. It's probably not a reason why he was available for what he was available for. But it's not a running back coming off a torn ACL or torn Achilles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those legs should be fresh.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Those big, strong,
Who really
powerful
needs
legs.
their neck that bad? Just
Especially a running back.
yeah, just brace it up. You don't have to.
Maybe he'll hit the whole ass first. He'll be all right.
He
he's
doesn't need
got
to be
a
like a
big
fucking
ass.
owl.
He got a big
I've
old
seen a
butt.
video of him doing squats or lunges. I was like, Jesus, that doesn't even look real.
Yeah.
It looked like a BBL.
Yeah.
It kind of did look like it. Nah, it didn't look like a
good
BBL.
looking at
It was a rocked up BBL.
Quadzilla.
But yeah, so that was another good move I like. So, beefy ass backfield, solidified the D end a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think the moves have all been kind of value at the margins type moves outside of Bond, right?
Well, you had to bring him back.
Bond was just bringing
and he's
him back.
arguably been the best free agent signing, I think. I mean, really up there in terms of the NFL as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anybody has stolen from us, they'd have been like, "Oh my God, they got
Exactly."
So I think that was a big move. I like the security blanket for Saquon with AJ, and I like all the other moves they made. Safe and easy.
Yeah, I mean, tight end, we'll see. It's not super encouraging for Dallas Goedert that they're bringing in Harrison Bryant, who looks like a kicker. You've seen a picture of him. That guy looks like a kicker.
Yeah.
And then this other dude, Kylan Granson, who I don't really know anything about. So, yeah, I think the writing might be on the wall for Goddard. He might go on draft day. Maybe he's a part of a trade package somewhere. But
I can see that.
I mean, we'll see what they end up doing at tight end. There's been a couple rumors that they might go after Kyle Pitts, which I don't really love. But
no, you don't get any blocking out of him. I feel like
that's
like,
my concern.
No, I don't
this.
love it. Yeah,
you
I
don't get any
it.
receiving out of him. So, like, well, you're
no,
getting.
you get receiving. You get some receiving out of him. No, you don't get any more receiving out of him than you get out of Goddard, and you don't get any of the blocking.
Yeah, but he's been helped. Like, I don't know. I'm not a. This is my fantasy GM and me speaking up right now. I don't think he's worth it at all.
No, I don't.
Especially draft day trade.
I'm not saying
Unless
that's going to
swap
happen.
first round picks.
I think what I would prefer is to draft a tight end in like the second or third round, like you did with Goddard a few years ago. But
yeah, well, tight ends for me, especially the way the team uses them. I mean, Grant Calcaterra had honestly just as many highlights as Goddard did this year. If you think about it, Goddard had a couple.
He had some big plays in the passing game.
But
it really just comes down to the blocking, because I mean, there was a pretty. I mean, Saquon was good enough that he kind of like papered over it, but there was a pretty significant like difference in the run game with Dallas out. He did really make a pretty huge difference in the effectiveness of the run game, and so I think that is the concern. There is just how much they rely on that. You want to be able to replace that if you can. Not easier said than done.
I think these two guys they brought in are clearly more blocking tight ends than they are. They've each had their moments here and there, but they're not necessarily the big receiving tight ends.
I don't know anything about Granson. I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend I do.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Bryant is definitely more of a receiving tight end, is what people that watch film have said about him. He's not an awful blocker. He's not as good as Goddard is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Goddard's, for all his flaws as far as being injured all the time, I guess that's probably his biggest flaw. Other than that, he's a very good tight end.
Yeah,
but
he's
for all his flaws as staying healthy, he's an elite blocking tight end. And it's kind of going to be kind of hard to replace that unless you bring in George Kittle, which isn't going to happen. So,
well, I mean, they are selling house right now.
The news are making.
Maybe that's the draft day trade.
They are selling house right now. That'd be funny.
That is true.
That'd be
a great. I mean, I would do that in a
pretty
heartbeat.
funny. Yeah,
Dude, that'd be wild.
Because the 32nd pick is like, I mean, unless you landed Lamar Jackson, but we did do this whole thing all over again, but that's how we got Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, we didn't think we needed him. We were coming off winning a Super Bowl with Wentz.
Right. So that'd be great. Oh, my God, that'd be insane.
Maybe that.
A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, it's like playing Madden.
Yeah, maybe.
What the
Dude,
fuck?
we might have just cracked the code. Maybe that's the draft day trade. The 32nd, Dallas Goedert, and we'll give you a couple picks, like day 2, day 3 picks between the next 2 years. Give us George Kittle and some other draft capital.
You heard it here first, folks.
Damn.
If it happens,
I'm calling it. If that happens, I'll do 4 shots of 99 bananas on the pod.
Oh yeah, I'll do that too. I'll double it. I'll do 8.
No, you won't. Don't do that. You'll be laid up.
I'm playing.
But nah, I will do 4 shots if after the draft.
Wasn't like George Kittle the guy who wore like the "Fuck Dallas" T-shirt or something?
Yeah. No, George Kittle's.
Yeah.
I mean, I generally despise
the
the 49ers, but he seems like a decent dude.
Yeah, he's a guy who I would always come across to me as a little like try hard and stuff. But if he was an Eagle, I would like him.
He looks like anybody you would see at any Eagles tailgate in the parking lot at 5 a.m. Like he looks like that. He looks like this guy has season tickets to the Flyers for sure. You can get that.
Yeah.
He's chilling. He's out there with the people.
Yeah, I like a George Kittle. Unlike who was the Bosa?
Oh,
Which Bosa was in the parking lot talking
Joey.
shit?
Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
The
I don't
Bosa
like
was
it.
not in the playoffs.
I don't like either of those guys.
That's another example of a defensive end being a bad shit talker. Like his shit talk was like, I make so much more money
Why
than
don't you go get your little? Why don't you go get your little butt buddy? I'm rich. I can afford it. Me too. Like,
Just
Loser.
dude, you're acting like football tickets are that much money that like working class people can't afford them. Get a grip.
That's that CTE kicking in, man.
Yeah, nah. Where'd he end up?
I forget who did pick him up.
He's not in the NFC, right?
That's
That's gonna be funny if he's in the
yeah,
NFC.
I don't know where
I can
he
hear
went.
the Bosa.
I know he got released.
Bosa.
I honestly couldn't tell you where. I think it was only a 1-year deal.
Oh, he's with the Bills.
Well,
Oh yeah,
That's
I
right.
think we play the Bills, but not at home. I think we play them in Buffalo.
we
this
do.
year.
I'm trying to go to that game.
In Buffalo.
Yeah. Could be fun.
Could be fun.
They're fun fans. We have no animosity between
Yeah,
us.
jump,
you
jump
know?
through a table. You would probably jump through the table, wouldn't you?
I would need someone to like throw me through the table because I don't know if I have enough. If I'm high enough, maybe I
Yeah,
can go
you
through
can
the
get
table.
enough. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can push yourself off.
I feel like they engineer the tables to break easily.
They better.
That's a young man's game. I'm too old for
They
that.
take some yeah.
Well, I think as a transition though, it'll be a short one, but Nick Castellanos in true Casty form for Brandon Graham's retirement.
Yeah, how about
First
that?
at bat, bang, a little dinger.
Yeah, well, we didn't talk about this yet. I think Casty's in for a big year. All these plane crashes and all the other just absurd
There's a
things
lot of
happening in
tragedy
the world.
going around the world.
Yeah.
You heard it here, man. Casty's due for 40 dingers.
You should look up Cassie's stats, Trump's first go around as president.
Oh, for real?
That's what you should do. I haven't looked at it. I'm just
Yeah, I
saying.
don't
It
know.
could be, I don't know, man. He
Yeah, what are his stats from
2017,
17 to
yeah.
2020?
could be pretty.
I'll see if I can pull that up.
I mean,
real
we
quick.
traded for him right after that, no?
It's free agent, but yeah, I think we signed him. No, I think that was 2019. Or no, that was 20. I don't remember when that was. How long's he been a Philly?
I don't know. It feels like forever at this
3
point.
seasons, maybe?
Oh, I don't have great.
Oh,
But
Whatever,
yeah, man,
but
that was
yeah.
a funny thing to see.
Yeah.
And Alvarado's been looking pretty good too. He hit
Yeah,
102.
Slim Alvarado.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
if he can get back
He's
in the
throwing a
form, that'd be-
curveball now.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Even he got lit up today, but dare I say, Tymon Walker has been looking kind of nice too. He'll be in the bullpen obviously to
He's
start
getting
this season.
traded.
Got
Yeah.
time
Well,
for a hot take though.
I
We'll
mean,
say,
either way, it's good for us if he's playing well. We can get a nice little piece.
hot take. Walker's getting Cy Young.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, definitely. I can see it right now
That is
coming out.
maybe the most absurd thing
He's
I
gonna come out
have
here
ever
slinging
heard.
all season.
He's
Be
gonna
looking
be
great. Yeah.
He's gonna be the first reliever to win the Cy Young since
John Smoltz, maybe.
Who was the last one?
Probably, I would think it was Smoltz, but there might have
Yeah.
been someone between.
Maybe like Trevor Hoffman or like
Maybe did Kimbrel when he was good.
nah.
Hell no. No walks though. No
I think
walks for
that
Walker.
guy that used to play for like the A's way back.
Houston Street, Rolly Fingers.
No, he's
Johnny
like
Ham-
I'm just naming any
just
A's
gonna-
pitcher that I can think
I'm
of.
gonna look up.
Mark Mulder, nah, he was a starter.
Babe Ruth.
Barry Zito, Tim Hudson.
wins,
I'm just
Cy
naming
Young.
all the A's starters that I know.
Rolly Fingers did
Oh, I told
So
you, I'm
nine-
nice.
9
I
relief
said Rolly
pitchers have
Fingers.
won
I
the
heard
Cy
that.
Young. Sparky Lyle,
Who the hell's that?
don't know. Bruce Sutter in '79.
I kind of know who that is.
Rolly Fingers, anyone? Willie Henderson. Steve Bedrosian.
Oh, he was a former Philly. No, he didn't win the
87.
Cy Young when he was on the Phillies.
Mark Davis. Dennis Eckersley, that's one I was thinking of in '92.
Damn, the only A's reliever I
and
didn't name.
Eric Gagne in 2003. That was the last
Damn.
time.
And he played hockey too? That's fucking wild.
Yes. His brother Simone.
Yo, Eric Gagne was nice. He was a weird dude, but he was nice. You kind of have to be a weird dude to be a closer.
Yeah.
I'm tripping
I feel
though
like
about
that's
Walker.
the most. I feel like that might be the most fun job in sports. Closing
Gotta be
pitcher.
the most high stress though.
Yeah, and I mean it's
But
high
it's like
stress,
you just,
but it's still probably so
yeah,
rewarding.
but it's nice that like you get to come in, get 3 outs, and you're always the guy who like wins the game, and it's like on the mound at the end.
Not
you have,
always,
you have
though.
to just
I-
be fucking weird.
You gotta, you get the walkout song.
The walkout song's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
you
good
can make
addition.
your walkout song hard as hell
Yeah,
too
yeah.
to really intimidate people.
Yep,
Yeah.
baby shark.
Well, the
Tank,
word,
you know, come out with
the worst thing about it now is that with the conventional wisdom, like there's still closers, but it's a little bit less like a solid thing. Like if they start to drop off, they will put someone else in that role. But they keep remember when we had Kimbrel. And he started kind of falling off, and he would start coming in the 7th, 8th inning, but they would still play his little intro
loses
thing.
the effect.
And I was
so
this is kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's like ass, man.
You gotta stop doing this shit, But I don't know. I always thought being a closing pitcher looks like a lot of fun.
Gotta have some swag to you though.
Yeah.
Gotta have a good song. You gotta have, it's gotta be 1, 2, 3. You can't be lingering around there a little bit.
Yeah,
Brad Lidge was great.
For that one season.
Yeah, for 08.
When it counted.
09.
When it
well,
counted.
09 counted too.
It's a mole. It's that mole. That's what it was.
09.
Oh, did he get a mole removed?
He got that mole removed.
And then he
Between
sucked.
08 and 09?
Then he sucked.
I don't think I never
I never
knew
even
that.
heard about this.
Mm-hmm. He got his
Damn,
mole
I don't have
removed.
good
Look
reception
it up.
down here.
Look it up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nah, Brad
That 08
Lidge,
season when he was 50, whatever it was, he was killing it.
yeah, 48 for 48, I think.
Then that
between
summer,
regular
he
season
got a
and playoffs.
fucking mole removed,
Yeah, he was garbage.
and he sucked. I'm telling you.
Oh, man, hold on.
What happened?
Well, I started just typing in Brad Lidge mole on Google, and it started it shows auto finish, and it came with Brad Lidge molestation charges. I was like,
Oh shit.
I didn't hear about
He's
that.
a good dude, man.
I don't
he
think,
ain't like
I don't
that.
think that. I don't know.
Nah, Brad Lidge he's a family man. That's not who he is.
I don't know, man. Internet never lies.
He's a good looking man.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
Did he really get a mole removed?
I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure it was right after they won the World Series, and he was never the same. It threw off the balance of the arm.
I mean, that was a large mole.
It was big as shit.
Yeah.
It was huge, but he needed that shit, and it worked. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Walker will be the next Brad Lidge or whoever he is.
I still think Walker gets traded.
I mean probably.
The one thing that could prevent that from happening is apparently I saw today Ranger Suarez has back stiffness,
Oh my god.
which isn't great because that was what sidelined him a lot last year. So I mean, I guess in a sense it's good you have Luzardo, but at the same time, Taijuan Walker may end up having to start some games if that back stiffness lingers. So that's the only reason why he might end up sticking around. Other than that, I think they trade him while he's throwing hard. Yeah, he got hit a little bit today. I mean, it's spring training. You can pass it along as, he was trying a curveball that he doesn't usually throw.
It's also spring training, and it's fucking Walker. It's not there's no expectations on this man at all.
Yeah, I mean, he could just be out there tinkering because he knows it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what this Ranger Suarez injury is. But good thing you have Luzardo. Andrew Painter will be up in June or July. Maybe you don't really feel the loss of Suarez if it is long term. And maybe you can trade Walker for, I don't know, some single A or double A prospect with some upside. Not a whole lot. You're not going to get a blue chip prospect for him, but maybe you get a guy that has some potential if you can unlock it.
Yeah.
But yeah, not really much there for the Phillies.
No, next week without me, y'all got to have the big preview pod.
Yeah.
You got to get a good guest on that knows baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get someone up in here for that. That's not a big deal. But that's all I got for the Phils. I don't really have anything else for them coming up right now.
The one thing I will say, spring training's too long.
Yeah.
This is so...
It does
so
go on.
long.
It doesn't seem like it's necessary to
No.
have all these games.
Fuck no.
man,
Never does.
It starts middle of February. Pitchers and catchers reported right after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We're sitting here a month and 5 days later, and we still have another week and a half of spring training. Are you serious?
You're just asking for someone to get hurt.
It might be why Ranger has back stiffness.
Yeah.
Right? But it's just too long. And I understand pitchers need to ramp up. And then after that, they're going to be playing baseball for 8-9 months. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But it's so long. I'm fine with it being this long. Just don't have games every day that just tempt us and tantalize us and make us think, I can't wait for regular season baseball. Every time I watch one of these games, I realize, this doesn't actually really matter.
Mm-mm.
And I'm just thinking, I can't wait for these games to count in the standings and for, guys to start having numbers that count towards their careers and all this stuff. I don't want to watch
Yeah, see,
I don't want to watch
Cassie hit a
starters
meaningless...
play for 2 or 3 innings, then watch a bunch of like quad A guys come up and just do whatever they're gonna do. And I get it. Like, honestly, I do kind of get it. Like, that's how some of these guys end up making a team as the last guy on the roster, and they go on to make good money for their families and their careers. I mean, the problem with that is they should pay minor league baseball players better. Yeah. You realize, like, some of these minor league baseball players making like $50,000 a year.
Oh yeah,
that's
crazy.
Horrible. Like, not even like single A.
They gotta get like jobs in the off season and shit.
Like Triple A, to step below the minors, you're making $50,000 a year. That's horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they paid them better, then maybe these guys aren't stressing about making a team. Maybe you can shorten the preseason, the spring training, same way the NFL shortened preseason. Give us that, please.
Yeah, the Casty big news homer doesn't hit the same in spring training like it does in the regular season, you know?
Yeah, like if a tree falls in the woods, does anyone really hear it? If Casty hits a home run in spring training, does anyone really hear it? I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, it's a real philosophical quandary.
But yeah, I think Casty, NL MVP. Nah, I'm not going MVP. I think he has a good year though. I really do. Even when he was talking about it before spring training or early starts in spring training, when he was saying, yeah, I mean, the pressure's off us. It's a great thing about this year. No one's really talking about us. And then the quote he said to the media is like, yeah, if we do great, that's good. If we don't do well, you guys get to write about it, and that's dope.
Yeah.
He's so goddamn funny. I started watching back some clips of his interviews from last season. You remember the one where he had the big game and the like ESPN chick interviews him? And she asked the dumbest question. She's like, yeah, so what happened at the end of the game? He's like, you saw it. You saw the highlight. You watched the game. You saw the highlight, right?
I like the milk and wine one.
Oh, when he was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or when someone asked him his favorite superhero.
Oh, that's the best. That's the classic.
Scooby-Doo. He's a dog and he can talk. Casty's the man, dude. Yeah, I'm excited for the Phillies to be back. Yo, when I'm in LA, I might try to go to the Dodgers game while I'm out there.
You might as well. I mean, whether or not we win or not, it'd be a great game to go to.
Well, it's not a Phillies-Dodgers game.
Oh, we're just Dodgers.
Yeah,
okay.
I forget who they're playing, but me and a guy from work were looking at tickets. I'm probably actually going to do that. So
yeah, man, see Shohei live like that in LA.
Yeah, get a Dodger dog, see some sights. We'll see. Have you been there?
Yeah, I went to a game when I was out there. Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, it's like, it's not like. It's just like interesting because it's such an old stadium. It's not like anything special, to be honest. But I mean, it's cool just to
historical
check
value.
one off your list. Yeah. You know, I was there. I was like in like the right field bleachers. Like they still have like bleacher seats out in the outfield.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, that was when Yasiel Puig was still on the team. So I was like, behind him or whatever. But I think they were playing the Pirates. I can't remember. I think the Dodgers probably won. I forget, but
yeah, I don't really care who wins. I kind of just want to see the stadium.
It was a thing to do.
How many stadiums you been to? Like
not that many, honestly. MLB I've been to LA. I've been to Citi Field. I've been to the new Yankee Stadium. I think that's it, honestly. And like the Phillies, obviously.
Yeah, I don't have that much either.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go. Yeah, I really want to make it to the Pirates Stadium.
That one's nice. I've been there.
I've never been to Camden Yards. Love to go there.
Oh, I've been there. They're like the only two I've been to, I think.
Yeah, I've also heard that the Giant Stadium is really great.
Yeah,
yeah, with the
maybe one of these days. Yeah, I have to like. My brother lives in San Francisco, so one of these days I should just take a trip out there and go to a game. Yeah,
that sounds dope. Yeah, I've been to obviously the Phillies. I've been to the PNC Park, Pittsburgh Stadium. That one's real nice. I've been to the Nationals Park.
I have been to Nationals too. Yeah, I never went down there. It's not nothing special.
No, nothing to write home about.
Yeah. No.
What's the other one? Oh, Camden Yards. Why am I forgetting one? Is that it?
Anything
You've
in
been to
New York?
Citi Field?
No, I've never been to New York.
Oh, yeah. Citi Field's kind of nice, actually.
I've been right outside.
I like Citi Field. I thought the new Yankee Stadium was fucking dull. And
I could see that.
It was because I guess they were trying to not stray too far from like that sort of traditional look of the old Yankee Stadium, but it's just very gray.
It's hard to repeat what you did the first time anyway, you know?
It's just, there's really no character to the new Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, it's... Man.
I've only been to 3, but we'd all been to that. Pittsburgh, Washington, and obviously the Phillies. That's it. I haven't really gone anywhere else for a game, baseball-wise.
Yeah, I've been right outside Wrigley when there was a game, but I didn't have tickets to it. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Fenway. I've been right outside Fenway, but it was middle of March.
Yeah, I'd like to go to Fenway.
That's I was outside Soldier Field, but never been in for the Bears game or anything like that. But that's definitely a historical one. Wrigley Field, Dodger Stadium, you know.
Yeah.
If you could go to
Fenway,
the old Yankee ones, but not anymore. Fenway, yeah.
Yo, Petco Park would be cool too. Like definitely not a fan of the Padres, but Petco Park looks nice.
Yeah, it looks like a good time.
The Houston ones don't look bad, honestly. That big ass left field.
Yeah,
I don't hate that stadium, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you got the. Do they still have the hill in the back of the outfield or no?
No, I think they got rid
of it because probably dudes were getting hurt a bunch.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea. That was insane that they had that for so long. What a stupid. I mean, I understand trying to, because that is like the unique thing about baseball is that the stadiums are all a little different. So you want to give it its own little character and stuff, but the idea, like, let's just put a weird hill in the center
what?
field.
Yeah.
It's like,
what could go wrong?
Yeah, it's just, awful idea.
That's a bad idea.
Honestly, the Marlins Stadium looks kind of fun, I will say.
Yeah.
Well,
the Marlins are just so bad.
Well, dude, I would have loved to have gone there when they first opened that place, and they had that crazy sculpture in the back in the outfield.
No, we talked about this before.
Yeah, where they used to like set it off and they have a home run. It looked like just some kind of tacky thing that you would put in a fish bowl. That like if someone had like a really huge aquarium, you'd put this. You'd have something like that in there. That'd be cool, but
who's got the pool? Wait, no, is that NFL?
That's Arizona.
Oh yeah.
But that ballpark looks ass.
Yeah,
otherwise,
though.
It looks pretty dull.
Plus, it's in the middle of the desert. Like they have the roof closed all the time. It's 100 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, the Milwaukee one looks all right. They got the slide.
I was thinking that
Milwaukee looks cool.
Yep.
Who else? Minnesota, the Twins. That one looks ass. It's so big and cavernous. No.
Toronto looks like shit.
There's a part of me that
Toronto's
the city,
is cool. Here's
the
the
deal. Sounds like
Center.
it'd be fun.
There's a hotel
in the outfield.
That's dope.
All right.
Imagine you get a room in the hotel. You just wake up, like have breakfast, go get like a hot dog and a beer, and just go watch a game.
Hell yeah,
that's dope.
All right, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
the
Rogers
hotel's
Center's
a game
pretty
changer.
Cool. I think they're trying to get a new stadium or whatever, but part of me wants to go just because of how shitty it looks. But Tropicana, the Rays stadium,
it got wrecked in the hurricane.
That's right.
Yeah,
aren't they playing at some like?
I forget where
they're playing somewhere else this year.
I think they're playing at some like Yankee spring training field.
Well, the fucking like A's are playing at some like college field in Sacramento this year, right?
The disrespect, dude. The disrespect.
Dude, it's hilarious too how they're not even gonna have a city name this year. They're just the Athletics. They're not. They're not the
Sacramento A's.
No, they're just the Athletics. That's it. There's no city name.
That might be better than Utah Hockey Club.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when they do stuff like that.
But
I missed the Washington football team.
Yeah,
that was fun. I actually have a Washington football team T-shirt that I obviously never wear.
Good.
But it's just like a little thing to have. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it'll be worth something.
What do you do with this?
It's just in
rag.
I don't know. It's just tucked away in some drawer somewhere.
You better not ever wear that.
It's just a historical document.
Never forget.
But yeah, I mean, that sucks if you play for the A's. You don't even represent a city.
They're just a letter in the alphabet.
Yeah, it must suck if someone from Sacramento. It's like, yeah, this city sucks so bad. We're not even gonna.
Yeah, we don't want that name on my name.
They have the Kings. They don't have any other teams.
Yeah,
they can't even claim anything else. There's nothing close to Sacramento.
The team didn't even want to claim them. Yeah. They're like, no, we're gonna stay here, but like we don't want to be. We're not trying to be a part of you guys. So we're just
the team that Oakland didn't even want Sacramento. That's the disrespect. I mean,
I had one of my old. You remember my old college roommate John?
Yeah,
he moved to Sacramento for like a year or two, and like the fucking the like apartment building he was living, like every single person living there was a fucking meth addict. He was like,
what else are you
they're
gonna
just
do?
like all tweakers in this entire building. He said it was like fucking awful.
I feel like, did Mir Long live in Sacramento at some point?
I think he didn't he?
I feel like he did. We'll have to ask him.
Yeah,
I'll see him next week when I'm in LA. I'll have to ask him about that. But nah, man.
Good old California.
Just the disrespect to Sacramento. Imagine being Sacramento.
Yeah.
And the team that Oakland didn't want.
It's the
doesn't
capital,
want
for
you.
Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is wild that Sacramento is the capital. Ugh.
Yeah, they're going to have Gavin Newsom throwing out the first pitch at all the game.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
After he's done recording his podcast.
He has a podcast?
Yeah, he has like a podcast where he just like, it's funny. Dude, he had like, I think the second one he did, he had Steve Bannon on.
Yeah, he's,
What?
he's transitioning to
He's
be
just like, yeah.
he's transitionting out of his liberal.
Yeah, I think he's just
California.
he's just like insecure about his status as like the most like latte sipping lib politician out there. You know,
So,
I think so. He's just like
what did him
talking
and
to like
Steve
Charlie
Bannon
Kirk
talk
and
about?
Steve.
He's
I
like,
don't
you
know.
know
I
what?
didn't, I
It was
didn't
the
listen
fucking.
to it.
It was the fucking laser beams that caused the forest fires. It wasn't even everybody else.
Yeah.
It was us. It was the libs.
Dude, I kind of want to listen to this now.
It's
I
weird,
don't know what
man. It's odd.
What? Wow.
Everyone's got to have a.
He
fucking
agrees with it.
podcast.
But he's like, you know what? You make a lot of good points right now.
Really?
I swear to God, it's
Oh,
very.
that's-
It's not what you,
the
not what you
fall-
would expect.
The fall of liberalism is nigh, dude. Jesus Christ.
They're all just bending over. That's all.
That's absurd.
Yeah, they're all just cucking.
Speaking of cucking, were you saying cooking or cucking?
Cucking.
Darryl, speaking of cucking, Daryl Morey's cucking, dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
Where do we even begin with this guy? Do we begin with the AI thing or the saying Philly fans are driven by anger? Let's do the driven by anger thing first. I'll pull up the quote, but a lot of it's too long. I'll give some backstory before I get into the context of what I'm going to read. So this was him. Oh, do I have it? Oh, shit. I don't think I had. Nah. Damn, I don't have it. What happened?
He talking about series though.
So yeah, I'll just paraphrase. So essentially, he was at the Sloan analytics conference, which is basically what it sounds like, a conference for nerds. As someone who is a sports nerd and goes to conferences for video game nerds, Sloan sounds nerdy as hell, respectfully. But anyway, so he was there and he was talking about a bunch of things, and he got to talking. I think the interviewee asked him a question about Philly fans or about just his experience with Philadelphia so far. And in so many words, he essentially said he didn't understand why when the Sixers lost to the Celtics, there was just, I guess 2 years ago, 3 years, I don't remember, when Harden was on the team and they blew Game 6 and got destroyed in Game 7. And everyone was rightfully pissed. Then the next year, we come back, we lose to the Knicks a round earlier, a game sooner, and Daryl Morey's like, yeah, I don't understand why people were madder after we lost to the Celtics. And he just says, yeah, I just think that Philly fans are driven by anger. The thing is, right, is people were madder about that Celtics series for a number of reasons. One, I mean, you had Embiid and Harden. Embiid was not healthy, fully healthy, but healthier than he's usually been. Healthier than he was in the next series, right? And then you have Harden won you 2 games in that series with 40 burgers.
Yeah.
Playing his ass off. In Game 6 and Game 7, he chokes. You have Tobias Harris blowing layups in Game 6, right? You have Maxey, who's not who he is now. He's not that player then. And, I mean, you take the Celtics, you go up 3-2. You'd blow them out in Game 5. You come home in Game 6, you're killing it. You're feeling good. You're after 3 quarters, you're winning. And then 4th quarter, you just blow it. And then Game 7, you come out and get smoked on Mother's Day. I'm sitting there having dinner with my mom, telling her how I'm making money betting against the Sixers. And she's like, oh, well, that's good. But yeah, it's Mother's Day. My mom's great. Shout out to my mom. She was happy I won some money and happy that I was there, even though I was in a grouchy mood after that. So yeah, that's why people are mad, just the way it all went down. But then fast forward to the next year against the Knicks. Yeah, it sucked to lose, but Embiid's playing on one leg, right? He came back from the meniscus injury that, I mean, every podcast in Philadelphia has belabored at this point, so I'm not going to talk about it. And he still put up 50 points in the one game. Maxey has the silencer in game 5. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the Knicks were a very tough, hard, physical team. So yeah, you lost a round earlier, but you were banged up. And also you went into this offseason with a sense of hope. Like, yeah, Embiid finally has a sidekick. No one knew that Embiid's meniscus was as shot as it is. But yeah, no one was that upset comparatively because the way the 2 seasons ended, yeah, it ended a round earlier, a year later, but it was a much easier loss to stomach. I mean, also, like, the Celtics are our rivals. They've kicked our ass pretty much every year since Embiid's been in the league. Like, yeah, people are going to be pissed. So, yeah, that's why people are mad. But to say they're driven by anger is just off base. Nah, fans want to win.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Daryl Morey has a tough time wrapping his head around, like, feelings.
Yeah.
like, I mean, he kind of did the same. I mean, I think it was maybe last offseason, or I forget, when he was kind of dismissive of this whole thing where people are so frustrated with the fact that we can't get past the second round of the playoffs. And it's like, well, like, you know, if you don't win the championship, like, what's the difference between losing in the conference finals and losing in the conference semis and all this kind of stuff? And it's just like, yeah, but like I don't know, man. Do you like feel? Do you like? Are you like a human being? It's just, yeah, I don't know, man.
You don't understand.
Can't wrap his head around those things.
It makes no. I mean, he doesn't understand the gravity of the situation or like what Sixers fans have gone through. Yeah. Have we been frustrated for the last 3 or 4 years when they've been in this playoff run? Obviously, but we weren't driven by anger. They've driven us to anger. They haven't made us, like, we're not angry at the team for whatever that way. They've made us this way. We've always been hopeful. Every year we knew Embiid would be maybe healthy enough to be a little playoff run, but we knew what we were going to get into. We knew Embiid was not going to be there for the full run. We were hoping that maybe he'd be here for a little bit. Harden was a huge pickup that gave us hope. We're like, all right, we're doing well. But it's always little things that fuck up. Then they promise us, okay, well, we'll patch it up, or we'll bring in one more piece away from winning everything. And then they end up finding a way to fuck it up and make us more mad. We're not mad at the team. We're not driven by that rage. But they just continually poke the bear that way. They like dangle a championship in front of our face every season on a treadmill with a little carrot, but they don't give us anything to help us get to that point.
Yeah, I mean,
they make us more frustrated. Like, we're frustrated at the process of that than it is actually being mad at the team itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unlike if you go back to the early 2000s, every year with McNabb and Andy Reid.
Right.
We would make it to the NFC Championship game, and then we would lose. We would make it and lose into some bad teams.
Yeah.
To the Panthers, to the Bucks when we were like favorites, to who's the other team? The Rams were good that year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we would make it every year and lose, and after a certain point, your level of frustration just builds up. You're not pissed at the GM. You're not pissed at the owner. You're not pissed at like whatever, although people are mad at Josh Harris for the whole Chinatown thing, which deservedly so to a degree. Also, he's just a bad person.
Correct.
But yeah, you're not mad at this or the other thing. You're just mad at having to be patient, having to wait.
And they should be mad too.
Yeah.
He should, as the GM, you should be fucking pissed too.
Yeah, he should be harder on himself, but nah, man.
Or yell at anybody else too. Like, be a part of what we're trying to do. Like, you know what you're getting into. We're not a crazy fan base. You've seen other teams in other different leagues, whether it's baseball, football, whatever, handle the fan base, right? They're not like, oh, they're a bunch of crazy people being all weird. No, like, we're passionate because we care and we know about either ball, football, baseball, hockey, whatever it is, you know, just because we care. And to say that it's all about just being mad because they're not happy with whatever, that's just a fucking cop-out, dude. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I think here's the deal,
also,
right?
your name's fucking Daryl.
Not helping.
Nah, fuck that.
I'm trying to think if I know any cool Daryls. I don't think so. But anyway, no, I think because he's just so detached from emotion, I shouldn't say that on his personal life. I'm sure he's emotional in his personal life, but
I don't think he is. I'm going to say probably not.
So detached as a professional in his working life, he has a hard time distinguishing passion from anger. You know what I mean? Right? Because, yeah, I mean, most athletes that ever played in Philly, or like most athletes, coaches, general managers that have been here for a minute, know that, yeah, we're a passionate fan base, 4 for 4. Like, we bleed all 4 teams. We bleed their colors, you know what I mean? But because Daryl Morey is just a computer and a robot, he just thinks all emotion is the same. Good emotion, bad, and different. So because fans are largely angry at what the Sixers have put us through for most of the last decade, he just perceives that as us being angry. No, we're not mad. We're just passionate about the team in general. And when they let us down, yeah, we get angry. But it's not because we're just driven by anger. We're driven by the passion and the will to see our team do well and our teams to win. I mean, I cried a few times during Embiid's career. I cried when he dropped the 70-point game. Mm-hmm. Right? I cried when he led the comeback against Serbia. That's not anger. That's true passion, dude. But he just has a hard time understanding that because I guess his large language models aren't teaching him that.
Those are also good moments too, right? Like those are happy moments, right? You weren't crying just because we got to Game 7 against the Celtics. We were fucking pissed, rightfully so. But I feel like as a GM in the city of Philadelphia, you have to understand that you have to take the anger with a grain of salt, right? Like, yeah, in the moment, everyone's pissed as shit, The fucking double doink with Kawhi. We were all frustrated and upset and mad, a couple plays here and there could have gone different ways. You bring up the Boston series, that fucking sucked. Even New York, honestly, I was more mad that they kept selling out the fucking Wells Fargo Center than anything else. Yeah. Like that, everything about that series was just infuriating. You know what I mean? So it's not that we're mad at the team itself. We're just mad because the teams that are nearest to us and our divisional rivals keep getting further than we do. So, like, your one job is to fix this shit, and you can't do it. And that's what we're mad about. So whether or not he can emotionally accept that or relate to it is beside the point. It's your fucking job to make the team a championship contender. And you wasted most of the good year, pretty much all of Embiid's good years in the time that he's been here.
I mean, Embiid had good years before him, but he's wasted the last of Embiid's good years. Yeah.
His MVP years?
Yeah. Which, not entirely on Daryl Morey, but certainly a lot of it is like, he's made good moves at large. Bringing Harden for Ben Simmons made sense. Bringing Paul George, even though it's backfired horribly at the time, made good sense. But his moves around the margins, bringing back Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker, these geezers, dude, that you were boys with in Houston 10 years ago. Nah, man. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think he's sentimental and like he has emotion for the wrong reasons. You can't be emotional about 40-year-old Kyle Lowry and 38-year-old PJ Tucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you need to bring in some youth and some energy, which I think he's started to learn, but it's just too late at this point. Embiid's got no cartilage in that knee yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess speaking of Daryl Morey, the other thing he said, I don't have this quote. Nah, this one was shorter. I don't really have it pulled up, but he essentially said that they use large language models, AI, like another scout.
Yeah.
Like
well,
this
is the guy that was trying to sell the potential of NFTs on the Rice Sanchez pod a couple years ago. It is funny. Like, I feel like what this kind of made me think of is that there's sort of this like darkly poetic like progression from like Hinkie to Morey. Because they're both kind of like similar types of dudes where they're these sort of like very data driven, like kind of like libertarian type people. And I feel like, Hinkie kind of represented this sort of like old, like the kind of old school, like Silicon Valley utopian like promise and this like optimism about this kind of stuff. And now it's just sort of progressed and degraded into the AI slop and all of the like nonsense that now we see.
That's an interesting observation. That's like, really spot on.
Yeah, and so now like Daryl Morey is just this guy who's like, using all. He's just a screenshot of a JPEG and another screenshot of that JPEG, another screenshot of that, and it just got more and more and just devolved into just the slop. that we have now, and it's like the promise is all gone, and now it just is what it is.
That's
now.
a fascinating observation.
That's kind of how I look at it.
And the analogy, that's spot on. That's really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can disagree with any of that. Because, yeah, I mean, him and Hinkie was his understudy, right?
Yeah.
And, yeah, the NBA forced Hinkie out, and we gradually just degraded to this, which is horrible. I mean, that's not to say Hinkie might not have eventually ended up in a place where he was saying some of these things. We never got to see it. But Daryl Morey he's just out there. Just, ugh.
Reprocessing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even like, I mean, I don't even think that Daryl Morey has like been like a horrible GM or anything, but it's just that's the I feel like the vibes have really matched the whole like cultural tone of things, you know?
Yeah.
They're off. The vibes are off.
Yeah.
They're not. They're
Yeah, I mean, what this comes down to is, like, analytically speaking and just mathematically speaking, I think for the most part, Daryl Morey has made a lot of good, shrewd moves, a lot of smart moves, getting Maxey, McCain where you did, future pillars of the organization. All smart stuff. But, right, you have Marcus Morris going on podcasts saying he doesn't trust him. The Harden speaking to the kids in China saying he's a liar. I mean, for what it is, like Harden, kind of a piece of shit, like respectfully. As respectfully as you can call someone a piece of shit anyway. But, at the same time,
he's a piece
Pat Bev, I think, said something similar too when he got traded. And like Pat Bev's an NBA journeyman. Stuff kind of probably happens to him a lot like that. But at the end of the day, there's several people that have come out and said, yeah, Daryl Morey isn't really like a people person. He doesn't look out for the human aspect of sports, right? Which I think at the end of the day is probably why the team is where it is right now. And part of it is probably he's just relying on AI and like large language models and who knows what else, crypto, to tell him what decisions to make. Mm-hmm. So
Daryl Morey's still holding on to apes.
Oh, he definitely is.
He's for sure. He's
is.
still waiting for the.
You notice
to
he hasn't been really active on Twitter since that stuff got exposed. I mean, part of that's probably also that the Sixers are having a terrible season, and anything he says, people are going to light him on fire. But yeah, he's been awful quiet on social media of late.
Yeah.
Do you think Daryl Morey probably loves Musk? You think he probably respects Musk? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely like in that.
He's a freak like that.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I could definitely see Daryl Morey driving a Cybertruck.
Dude, he probably does. I mean, he's a big man. He probably needs a bigger vehicle like that, even though I've never been in one to say how spacious they are on the inside.
They don't look that spacious I mean,
they look spacious if you're a triangle.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
They look spacious in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
No, I think that's all I got on Daryl Morey. We got a couple minutes. This tanking stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what do you make of, like, the Sixers are getting blown out by 30 points, by the way.
Great.
Hell yeah.
But what do you make of, like, teams just starting guys and then benching them for the entire fourth quarter so they can lose? Like, Toronto did that a couple times where Scotty Barnes, like their best player, plays the first 3 quarters of the game. Then the entire fourth quarter, he sits out in a game that they were up going into the fourth, and then they lose.
Yeah, it's pretty brazen, and it's definitely not good for the league. I mean, it's because this goes back to that whole like, NBA ratings are down thing, and like I don't think like teams tanking has like that much to do with that, but it's definitely doesn't help that like you have so many teams that are actively trying to lose games. I say that of course as someone who would like the Sixers to lose as many games as possible.
But the Sixers are doing it right, though, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really. It's not like the Embiid injury is fake. The Paul George injury is not fake. They're at least like trying to play some guys with some upside that could be part of the future. It's not. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's just I feel like the way that basketball is set up and the draft and all of that, it's the league where it's most advantageous to just try to tank because then
there's no penalty.
Yeah, and I mean baseball. It's like you have so many people in your system. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice if you have an early draft pick, but that's not going to make or break your franchise.
Plus,
It's
you
like
may
you just-
not see them for 4 years.
Yeah, you just need to be good at scouting and have a lot of people in the pipeline. You know,
Hockey, you can't tank. You have 4 lines and 3 pairs, and I mean the roster is 20
Yeah.
people. That's most of the people that can skate
Yeah.
on any
You
given
either
night.
suck or you're good. There's no real hiding from that.
yeah.
I don't
in
know.
like football, the idea of tanking is like kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Fuck
physically.
that. Yeah.
Team-
You just can't really do that.
Teams will do it the last game of the season.
They'll like sit some guys,
right?
sure,
like,
but
like the Eagles a few years ago, Doug Peterson's
Oh,
last
yeah, I
game. That
remember
was an
that.
epic lesson in tanking.
That was
It was
funny.
a tanking masterpiece, but you can't do it with a month left to go in the season in football.
yeah.
Well, I mean, a month could be 2 games, so potentially. But I don't know.
When is a
Someone,
month ever 2 games? Everyone's bye week's done by the last 4
couple
games
games.
of the season.
All right. Sorry, you got me there. Damn, all right, got you. But I think that
I was going to say,
I think
Jesus.
that though, I don't know. I mean, someone brought up like, what is it? Regulation, whatever it is. When you, like in soccer, right? When someone,
relegation.
Yeah, relegation. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how that would fold in the NBA, but that could
Yeah,
be
you
interesting.
get relegated to the G League.
Yeah, something like that. If
Yeah.
people are, again, you'd have to put a whole process in place for that. But
That'd be hilarious.
It would be cool. I think this.
It'd be funny.
It's just like a pipe dream because like the owners would have to agree to it, and obviously no one wants to.
well, we kill them all and then we figure it out.
Yeah, they're all a bunch of rich billionaires
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
But nah, I don't know what the solution is. That's up for people smarter than me, but not Adam Silver. Is he the worst GM in professional sports right now?
The worst commissioner. Yeah.
Commissioner, I'm sorry.
Gary Bettman's pretty awful. Though I guess he did kind of get a big some points with the Four Nations thing.
Yeah,
I feel like that bought him some
It's a
goodwill.
big win.
It's between,
Before that, I would say he would be the worst.
yeah, I think I kind of slide with you on that one.
But,
I mean, people hate Roger Goodell just to say that they hate. I don't
Now,
really.
the NFL's actually doing
I don't
pretty
really
well
think,
for
though,
itself
like,
as a
but-
product.
I couldn't really name anything that I've like felt
Yeah,
mad about
I feel
Goodell.
I feel like people hate Roger Goodell just because he's probably kind of a piece of shit, but like he's not bad at his job.
He doesn't
No,
do anything.
necessarily.
Yeah, like
I mean, the
Yeah.
NFL is doing
He-
pretty.
he's
good.
expanding the NFL across the whole world. Like he's not really
Yeah.
doing anything negatively impactful.
And like Manfred, like I feel like people. I mean, some of the stuff that they've implemented in the
I've come around on
baseball
him
has-
a good bit.
has
Like
been,
Silver is just kind of a prick, to be honest with you.
Silver's completely clueless, man. That's the
Yeah.
thing. I mean, the NBA is a players' league, which, yeah, largely is good. Like, the players are the workers. We're a pro-workers pod here, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I feel like it's gone in the opposite way, where the players have too much power.
It's kind of a
where
overcorrection.
the product is suffering from it.
Yeah.
Whereas, with the NFL is certainly, like, more of a pro-owners league. Contracts aren't guaranteed. Like,
Yeah.
that kind of sucks for players. Careers are generally pretty short. But at the same time, like, Goodell hasn't done anything to actively harm the game, right?
Yeah.
Like, Goodell hasn't implemented these weird rules like Adam Silver. Like, yeah, if you play a national game on a back-to-back, your star player has to play either the first or the second game of the back-to-back unless he's injured. But he has to have been an all-star in the last, 5 years.
Yeah, all
Stop
these
with this
ridiculous
arbitrary
rules.
GS, dude.
Right. Yeah.
You can't just make this stuff up so people are inclined to watch your game. It just seems like just a gimmick that's just going to turn people off from it even more, which obviously has.
You're already seeing it.
Like, here's what I will say. Like, I'm excited WNBA season starts in a month and a half, 2 months. Such a better product. I'm excited, man. I'll be able to watch basketball that's actually fun to watch again. None of Adam Silver's NBA, where load management is prominent. You have teams tanking for no reason. You have people giving Embiid a hard time, saying he's just resting when clearly he has no cartilage in his knee. You have all this stuff. You have the last 2 minutes of game taking 40 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I was watching college basketball. The last 2 minutes of the game took 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
it was over.
exciting though too.
It was over.
Mm-hmm.
But the last 2 minutes of that Sixers game the other night against Houston, which that game was a masterpiece in just, I don't know, stupidity theater. Neither team really wanted to win that game. The last 2 minutes of that game, dude, before overtime was 20-some minutes, and then I had to stay up for overtime. Nah, man, you can't have that. The NBA is just a poor product. I'll be happy next year when it's on NBC and I'll get to hear Round Ball Rock. But I'll be damned if I'm watching whole games if this is what it's going to be
That's
like.
the big move. That's what they're banking on to revive this.
Yeah. That's a little like,
interest.
resuscitation kind of thing coming up right there.
Yeah.
That's all.
It'll resuscitate me for the first few minutes of the game when I get to hit a round ball rock a couple times. When it gets to the last 2 minutes and it's 35 minutes, man, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Miss me with that.
Yeah. Well, I think that'll just about do it for us here tonight, everybody. Thank you for listening and tuning in. Give us a 5-star rating and review after you get a podcast. Send us a give us a subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram,
You said
Facebook.
send an email?
Send us an email. That's the last part.
Oh, oops.
Send us an email
Sounded like that's where you're headed.
at citywidepod@gmail.com.
Adam Silver over here.
Yeah. trying to change the rules on me.
Oh, yeah,
Trying to do these arbitrary rules. But anyway, from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
I see you, 15.
Shout out, PJ.